Welcome to Arcade Attack. A retro gaming podcast for up to 4 players.
Sonic Boom!
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, as usual. It's yours truly, James, with another Arcade Attack podcast for your good selves, ladies and gentlemen. Alongside me are the sharpest tools in the box. If, in fact, those tools in the box were rubber mallets.
And spoons.
And spoons.
Spork.
Take your heart out with a spoon. I've got Adrian.
Heyo.
I've got directly opposite me, Dylan.
Hello.
And I've got the Keith Meister.
Hello, mate.
Welcome, chaps. How are we?
All right.
Yeah,
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Sunny day today for a change, so
Well,
enjoy now.
the weather at the moment is, what was it? I saw a picture the other day, which was 7 a.m. deep snow, 3 p.m. blazing sunshine.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's a bit, yeah.
Welcome to the UK.
Welcome to the UK, indeed. Absolutely. So, any news going on in your worlds at the minute? Any breaking news? Anything that the guys need to know out there? Anything
I was
you
just
should know
saying
about?
how sad Sonic Frontiers is.
Yeah, you were actually. Yeah.
It's just so
Why is it so sad?
Like the music is sad and it's so desolate and like
Sad.
everything is sad and Amy is depressed. I'm like,
Isn't it all raining at the beginning as well?
yeah, it's just really like.
Is that-
I think they've gone for atmosphere, but just made everything so sad.
Sonic should never be
But
sad.
Sonic games aren't sad, are they?
No,
Should
they're not
they
meant to be sad. They're not
Are
meant
any
to be
other
sad.
Sonic games sad?
I know. I don't think so. Shadow the Hedgehog was a sad attempt at a video game.
Okay,
no,
so Sonic Frontiers a bit sad.
It's sad.
Which
Yeah,
is-
that's
anyone agree, disagree? Let us know. Anyone else play? Or Keith, so you're saying the same thing, aren't you?
Well, yeah, I mean, my son got it for Christmas, but he's only played it for he played it once and then, FIFA. So I can't give you a proper opinion.
that was a
on
good
it yet.
spend of money then.
Aye.
Well spent, yeah. Well, there we go then. So we got sad.
Just
sad
sadness.
Sonic Frontiers.
Sadness.
Okay. So I know this looks like I'm being really nice and giving you the opportunity to share some great news, but it is in fact for two reasons. So firstly, and he didn't actually say anything, which is quite surprising. So that makes me a bit worried. Is to make sure Adrian got some airtime there, out of the way,
Oh, all right.
by giving him the soapbox instead of waiting for him to cut me up later on like he normally does.
No, but
yeah?
he's going to do that anyway. That's
Yeah,
why
he
we're going to save the Adrian.
But he's deliberately
Yep.
saved himself. There. He didn't say anything.
Nope.
So all I know now is I'm just going to get cut up anyway.
He'd be
So
like,
that's fine.
Might I interject, James? There you go.
You're going to anyway, whether I let you or not. So.
Yeah.
But secondly, it's because today's pod is in fact all about news. Yeah, news of the retro gaming variety. You'll be
It's
pleased
sort
to
of
hear.
sort of spring. I want to say spring edition with bloody snow. Winter/spring edition 2023.
I'll take that. I'll
Yeah.
take that. So. Should we delve straight in, chaps, and see what's making the headlines in the old retro gaming world this time? Because we've had 2 volumes of this in the past. We've had the weird, the wonderful, the odd, the kind of surprising, the not so surprising, and this edition kind of is no different. But I've kind of gone, a bit more hardcore gaming this time. So we're really going to be, and
We
some
listen to feedback, not really. It's just the way it goes.
No, not at all. No. Although there is a little kicker that we kind of discussed off mic earlier, which
I think we'll get all the feedback together. We'll get to episode 299, and then we will address the feedback.
Yes. Well, get to 300 and then we'll think about
and then
it.
we'll still ignore it. So, up first, hands up in the room. Who owns a Commodore Amiga?
Dilsey.
Dilsey.
Well, actually, I sold it to my boss, but I still got
Okay.
loads of the Amiga stuff. Why?
All right. So who's had one in the past?
Yeah.
You just got a hand up as well, of course. So good news. Okay, if you've got one or you're thinking of getting one again and dusted one off, etc., etc. There's a Belgian company called Hyperion Entertainment. I like them already just because of the name. They've actually released a brand new update for the old Amiga OS.
Yeah,
Believe it
okay.
or not, yeah.
All right. Well, kickstart.
So now, the original OS, the 3.1, and this is where we're going to kind of go a bit geeky here, but it's all good. It was released by Commodore 30 years ago this year. Oh. Okay. Apparently, there's a massive row that has been for many years over the actual ownership rights of the Amiga OS system.
Yeah.
There was
what?
it's like one
It's
of those
really
things.
confusing.
If you get into it, you need a good day to read like all of the stuff. I mean, and so much so that there's a lot of websites that I went to that have entire sections on just this row. About dedicated to the whole whose is it, when was it handed over to this person, and so if you want to read about that, it's pretty mental to say the least. So needless to say, we're not going to be going into the row or any of that flannel. All right, we're instead going to focus on the fact that Amiga has received all sorts of updates from loads of different companies since the late 90s. Yeah. So the most comprehensive and recent update from these guys at Hyperion has actually got loads of goodies in it. So this will give you a whole bunch of extra stuff if you do in fact want to.
I had Workbench 3, and I remember them taking loads of stuff off it that my mate had on his A600 one. I don't know what iteration that was, like the voice thing and things. You know, the typey voice thing. I thought it was amazing. I was looking so forward to it. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to get my A1200, and it's hey,
where's it gone? Well, this is the 3.2.2.
All right.
So it is a very much a new update. So it includes a new GUI toolkit called Reaction.
Nice.
Yeah. It's got a new multi-file text editor called, unbelievably, Text Edit.
Amazing.
Just the names are blowing me away here. And lots of other bits as well. There's a stack of stuff on this. So if you fancy having a proper geek sesh, go and have a look for Hyperion Amiga OS 3.2. But there's a bunch more stuff on this as well. But I mean, in terms of like a new GUI toolkit, what does that like kind of...
I think it's more for like software dev, isn't it? So it's like they basically done that. So maybe it will just help the homebrew scene and stuff. Amiga coding is way over my head. Like we talk about text editors and things. I'm like, I ain't getting into any of those games and trying to hack anything. Like
it's funny though. It's funny that because there's been several occasions that I've seen since having looking at the Twitter account and stuff. There's a lot of pages which talk about it. Quite frequently about the coding, about the software that's out, the updates that are out, and using the programs now and doing pictures, and they do little tutorials, and some people stream it and stuff like that. I didn't realise there was quite such a
people love the Amiga.
Yeah,
I just like I loved it back then, but I just don't get that scene now. It just whoosh over my head. I'm like, just get a PC, guys. Why are you trying to make it? Why are you trying to boost your Amiga? Just get a PC. Come on.
Just get it's like
get a mini Amiga.
It's a bit of achievement.
Hey man, you remember I used to make my tunes and stuff on my Amiga? I used to I spent hours. That thing was like my best friend. So yeah.
Well, there's a lot of love for it out there. To be fair. So, and I mean, Age. I mean, you loved the Amiga, didn't you?
Yeah.
So did you? I mean, did you do anything other than playing games on it?
Well, I remember when I first
got Deluxe
it.
Paint. Did you try a bit of Deluxe Paint?
Bit, but my mum was like, "You can do homework on this. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you a few. There's a whole disc here about dinosaurs. You can learn about dinosaurs.
There you go.
And I had
learn about dinosaurs
at the time,
but about 7 minutes.
I'm like, why can't I shoot the dinosaurs? I'm going to play. I'm going to play some other games.
There are no guns.
Why isn't this Dino Crisis? This is too early for Dino Crisis.
So yeah, apart from the encyclopedia-based discs, no, it's all about gaming for me.
Awesome. So, well, there you go. If you want to go and have a look at that, just have a look for the OS 3.2 update and have a good old geek sesh over all the bits they've put onto it. Onto something completely different, slightly more up to date, although not a huge amount. We're still going back about just over 20 years here with this one. But if I say to you the console name of GameCube, fellas, what comes to mind?
The weird, like, intro boot thing where the cube's rolling around.
The little intro screen, with the funny noises that Keith was doing. I was going to say brilliantly, but...
Nah.
Do you know what I thought? I thought the GameCube came out with a PS2, didn't Xbox, all right?
Uh-huh.
And I always thought, and this is stupid, I know. Oh, look, the GameCube discs, tiny.
They're so small.
And I kind of thought, surely that means it's half as good. It's a dumb way to think about things. Half as good.
Oh, no, not necessarily, because everything was... Yeah, I can
size
see
matters, right?
That's what she said.
And I had a bit of a snobbish attitude towards the GameCube, if I'm being completely honest. But it did change one day for me. I don't know if you guys want me to tell the story.
Go on then. Yeah, see?
Here we go.
Regardless of whether I say
10 minutes in,
regardless of whether I say yes or no is irrelevant. Yeah, so crack on. Go for it.
Do you know what? My family moved to Evesham. which is in kind of near Worcester sort of way, sort of Gloucester way. And I was stuck in Croydon. So with my wife and kids and so forth. But, you know, they left all Croydon.
Abandoned with no one.
I was a bit of a nomad at one point. I told you that before. I was kind of in between a few houses. And I finally settled. Yeah, get little violins out. And I remember it really well. I went up to... obviously, I went to go and visit my family. And as soon as I got there, Chris said... My brother Chris said, look at this. I've got a GameCube. I'm like, oh, okay. Because I never played it before. I never really seen it in the flesh, believe it or not, really properly. And I was like, okay. And he plugged it in. And this is a bit rude of me, really. But because my mum was there, my dad was there, my two brothers were there. I just spent so many hours on that GameCube. And I was only there for the weekend.
Wow.
But I tell you why it was. Because my brother was like, oh, I've got a few games, but I think you like this. And he put in, are you ready for this?
Go on.
The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker. And
no wonder you didn't speak to your family.
I know, I was really rude. And I was like so engrossed in this game. And actually, I know you guys think, oh, yeah, typical Adrian. He only likes Zelda because of Ocarina of Time, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's not strictly true. I played Ocarina of Time, actually loved it. Didn't play Majora's Mask. Didn't play a Zelda game for many, many years. It was only after I played The Wind Waker on the GameCube that I properly fell in love with the series, not the individual games. So that is a completely true story. And
I don't think we've heard that
I was a
before,
bit rude
have we?
to my family because they were like, "Oh, should we watch a movie tonight? We can put a DVD on." I was like, "I just want to play Wind Waker."
Yeah.
I'm like, "But we haven't seen you for a few months. I just want to play Zelda."
So they left you, and then you left them.
Yeah, I was very rude.
For Zelda.
I was in my early 20s, maybe mid-20s. I was a bit rude, really. But this is completely true, and this is one thing I'm always going to say thank you to my brother Chris, because he was so nice. He could tell how much I love this game and the GameCube, and it's something. And at that time, I wasn't really playing much PS2, and I was a bit PC gaming. But I thought, wow! And I was kind of thinking to myself, I need a GameCube because it's good for the kids. And my Reese was young then, and you and my son were very young. I thought this is the perfect console. And Chris actually said, "Look, take it home. You can have it.
Oh, wow.
You really love it. I can tell your sons will love it." And he gave it to me. And I said,
Amazing.
"No, you can't
That's
do
really
that.
nice.
What a bro.
You know, he's a great guy. He's a bit
We got a lot of love for Chris.
Bit misunderstood sometimes.
We've got
I
an
think.
interesting story about Chris in 2 weeks' time. Like The Sims. Anyway, but keep this story in the forefront of your minds, everyone. This story in the forefront.
I loved it, and I went home, and I was like, and I said, "Becca, look at this Zelda game." And Reese was loving it. He was, I can't remember the exact age then, but he was like, he got in love with Zelda, and I completed it. And I tell you what, Zelda Wind Waker is an absolutely incredible game. It's one of my favourite Zelda games because it's, for me, it's the start of me loving that series. And after that, we got the Wii, and I got all the Zelda games. I went back and got all the kind of handheld games. So the Wind Waker for me is so important, and it is up there. Some people don't like it. Some people think it's not a real Zelda game. It's a bit too cartoony, and there's bits and bobs that aren't perfect. But for me, it's brilliant, and it's one of my favourite memories. And actually, the GameCube for a few years was our number one go-to as a family. Super Monkey Ball, got that. Absolutely loved it. Mario Sunshine, not Mario. Was it Mario Sunshine?
Super
the GameCube?
Mario Sunshine.
Yeah, I didn't particularly like it, but my son Reese loved it. Pikmin, it was absolutely incredible. So. If you ask me now, which console do I have fonder memories of, the PS2 or the GameCube, it's very close. And I might even edge towards the GameCube, surprisingly, because it's got so much...
Isn't that what it's all about, though? Like, exactly what you've just said there. Like, you saw it, you kind of were introduced to it for the first time.
I was snobbish at the start.
Yeah, and you sat down and played it, and you were like, oh my God. And then you got into the series because of that.
I know.
Well, you got back into the series, shall we say.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of people that probably identify with those kind of things and say, well, that's why I got into X series, Y series, whatever. So, no, I'll allow that.
And I'm sorry if my mum and dad are listening. And I kind of didn't talk to you much that weekend. It was a bit rude, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you're young and...
I was young and
naive.
It was Zelda. I got Zelda again.
No, it's a cracking story.
So thank you, Chris. No, that's a very
Bravo,
personal
Chris.
story, but I really, and that meant a lot to me.
Well
Why
done.
did you mention the GameCube?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you. This is what happens, you see. This is what happens. I say something and then bang! Adrian's like, can I just mention a story? And then we completely forget what we were going to say. So, would you ever say that the GameCube was ever considered a portable console?
It's got a handle.
It's got a handle. It's got a handle.
You can carry it around.
You can carry it around, but other than
No,
that,
not really.
was it was in the same kind of ballpark as a home console?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and this is very recent actually, there's recently discovered footage that's now available. You can actually now watch it on YouTube. I think it's only gone up very recently. It shows a showcase of the GameCube at the 2002 E3 event. All right. And now I can hear you saying, well, why is that so special? Yeah, because it would have been at the event anyway.
Just move over, Jack. Get to the next article. This ain't important.
Just crack on. Yeah. Well, the footage actually shows the GameCube sporting a small 4x3 LCD screen attached to the console, and full colour, playing games as you would do on a normal sized TV. But the GameCube was originally displayed with a screen, making it considerably more portable than the incarnation we all kind of know and love now.
Ooh.
But it actually the original idea was that it was going to come with a flip up screen.
Oh yeah, like that PlayStation thing.
Yeah.
The PS1.
The PS1 screen thing.
That's it.
And it was, I mean, don't get me wrong, I've seen this I watched this footage recently, and it looks really good. Like, when I heard about this story and I was looking at it and I was thinking, it's probably going to look a bit ropey and like, do you know what I mean? You just know that it's really good. Like, the colours are great, and it looks to play really well. There's no kind of lag or anything like that. But yeah, why they decided to sort of against it in the end, I don't know. I guess they were trying to match up against, your PS2s and everything, the Xboxes and everything that was coming out at the time. They were muscling in on the home console market rather than trying to be a jack of all trades and a master of none.
Maybe it was a question of how much can we afford to lose on these consoles.
Well, screen.
We'll have to do away with the screen.
Exactly.
And so the handle must be like a carryover from that then, I guess.
I believe so. It's good that you
just
said
left
that,
it on
that's
there.
what it was,
Do you know what, James? You can get a thing underneath the GameCube to play Game Boy Advance games. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
And with that screen, is that the Tower of Power? Is that what you're telling me?
The new Tower of Power.
Well, I mean, I couldn't actually find any more information on whether a screen is. I mean, there must be a screen available somehow because
someone's modded it.
Someone's going to have made one, or there's so many different things out there now. But whether you'll actually find an original one, who knows? I mean,
remember there was that weird Panasonic. Do you remember they made
the
Panasonic
silver
Game
one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Put the Game Boy Advance thing at the bottom, a screen on that. That is like Uber GameCube. That is GameCube XL.
Yeah.
Panasonic Cube.
It is though. That's actually you like one of those, Keith.
Yeah,
they're so badass.
Yeah.
Just to have one.
Just to have one.
It's
so
I've got one of
shiny.
these. But yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't mind betting somebody somewhere's got the screen that was at the E3 event. Somebody's got it tucked away in a drawer somewhere.
So what did it flip from what you saw? Does it just flip off the top? Was it like
so? The footage doesn't give away an awful lot.
Can't really see.
It's on like a display stand,
okay.
And essentially you've got the GameCube flat on the table, and the screen is almost at a 45-degree angle backwards.
Okay.
It doesn't make it very clear as to how it's attached.
Right.
And I mean, I'm sure there are more details on it.
Because it was a top loader, wasn't it? So
Yes.
how would you...
That's what I was thinking.
But the screen's, it looks like it hinges right at the back.
At the back of it.
So, and it's well out the way of the disc tray. So, I mean, I don't know whether...
Yeah, it might, when you're not using it, it just all folds down on top, maybe.
Yeah,
Carry it around. Brilliant.
Yeah, with your handle, yeah. But I mean, if you can actually see a lot more on this. There's the original video, which is not very long, but there is a section on it afterwards. With some Nintendo execs actually talking about the screen and the ideas behind it, why they ditched it, etc. So it's well worth watching if you're into the GameCube. And it's there's a guy called Adam Doree, Doree, and he's an ex media executive, and essentially got involved in a lot of these campaigns and things like that. So yeah, he's posted that bit of footage with that kind of explanation with the Nintendo execs afterwards. So I thought it was quite interesting because I don't think anybody knew that there was somebody could have said, "Oh, there was a screen on a GameCube." Someone's going to go, "Well, prove it." There's the video, and they've only just found the video in like Nintendo's archives. So I thought that was quite interesting.
Is there any consoles you'd love to have a screen attached? Any console back in the day?
All of them. Why not?
How about a Jaguar screen?
How did I? Do you know what? I knew that was coming.
No, but it would be like you have to attach it on top of the Jag CD. And there's like a little pot, it's a pot, you can put that on there and it's like a weird screen. That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
And then you'd have the cartridge thing on the back of that. So it'd be like a triple cartridge thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, why didn't you think of that, Atari?
I mean, the only one aside, it's not strictly a screen on top of it, but I remember some people who were like into the car modding scene and stuff. They used to have a screen in their car and playing Gran Turismo.
Pimp My Ride.
Oh, yeah,
PS1.
Pimp My Ride. They would always put PS2 in.
So
yeah.
which was funny but pointless. It was like, how are you going to drive and play? Come on. So there we go. The GameCube originally, back in the day, was supposed to have a screen, but it didn't get launched with it. So there you go. Yeah, go on.
And I was just saying, I think the GameCube suffered because it was perceived to be a bit less powerful than the PS2 and the Xbox. It didn't really have that extra. It wasn't like the Switch where it was portable and stuff. I know it had a handle. So in a weird way, that screen, I don't think it would have.
It's not about perception, though, isn't it? Because it still ran like Resi 4 and stuff and everything, pretty much the same. It wasn't a lesser machine. It's just that perception.
It's the perception.
It is perception because
perception's everything, though, isn't it?
People dismissed it as a kid's toy because if you look at it, it was purple. It was this little cube. It had the tiny little disc. Even the controller looks like a blooming Fisher Price.
It does.
You know,
there's one over there. Is that one there?
Yeah, I've got one.
Well, I've got one
of the brightly coloured different
one of the
shape
knockoff
buttons.
ones. It's into the thing.
People love that controller.
Oh,
Don't
I know. But again,
I know
perception at the time.
I just think because Nintendo usually has innovation for each of their consoles, don't they? And the GameCube on paper lacked that real key innovation. That screen could have been the game changer.
Well, we'll never know. That's the thing. We'll never know. I mean, hasn't Nintendo always been kind of like seen as the less powerful console? But then in fact, with the game library,
and I think
all
that's
that sort
been
of stuff.
that's been true as well.
Yeah, because the Switch
doesn't necessarily
but I
translate to
think
better games. So
no, it doesn't.
Or worse games.
Just because you have a more powerful console, it does not mean.
I just feel like they were stubborn sometimes, though, because you think the previous generation, we are still using cartridges.
Yeah.
And then that generation, no, we're not using DVDs. We're going to use these
tiny
weird
little
little... No, we're not using that.
UMDs, as Sony called them for the PSP.
They're
Universal
UMDs.
Media Discs.
How many movies were released for that bad boy? I wonder.
A lot.
Quite a lot.
There were a lot.
Does anyone own the whole collection?
I had about 50 or 60, I reckon, at one point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you honestly?
Yeah, I had about 50 or 60 films for it.
Are they worth anything these days? Not really.
I don't know.
I don't
sold
think
it
so.
years ago.
I really don't think UMDs are worth anything.
That's so funny, isn't
Like
it?
mini discs. Yeah. All kind of was a flash in the pan, wasn't it? Anyway, we're going to move on. We're going to move on to something, to be fair, even more bonkers now, yeah? So we've all heard of some crazy people doing hacks and mods and building things, attaching things, making games and all this sort of stuff. To get games playing on platforms that, let's be honest, they were never really intended for. So the next story, though, it's got to be one of the weirdest, but I would say probably one of the most impressive, yeah? So there are two developers, developing companies called Alone Coder and Dragon's Lord, yeah? They've managed to recreate the Quake engine on none other than the 8-bit icon, the ZX Spectrum.
What?
No, impossible.
I mean, what?
It is not impossible. There's a video proving it.
No.
They have.
No, because the Spectrum can just about play R-Type.
It can just about play R-Type.
It can't play Quake.
Well, you're going to eat your words because you can look it up in just a second if you want to. But it uses the Doom UI and the Doom weapons. And to be honest, yes, it's called Quake Engine, but for all intents and purposes, it looks and plays just like Doom.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, as you probably would expect. Yeah.
Sorry,
Go on.
no, is it John Carmack who made Doom?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Someone put it on Twitter. Someone wrote to him in the 90s and said to him, "Oh, can you put Doom on the Amiga?" They actually said, "Can you do it?" And John Carmack actually literally replied, "They put it." I've seen this kind of message. It might be a message board anyway, but it's been. I saw it the other day. Really interesting. And he literally said, "I'm really sorry, but the Amiga is not powerful enough for Doom. We can't do it." Well, I'm just looking at that. It's very impressive. But John Carmack would say that is not possible. And he went into all this detail. So John Carmack says Doom can't go on the Amiga. So he would say Quake can't go on the Spectrum.
But now Quake's gone, sorry, John. You're a bit of a legend, but like, no. It's definitely there.
How Spectrum? Sorry, we're looking at footage of it now.
Keith's got some footage up of
the
it on
3D.
Spectrum.
Yeah. That's insane.
I don't see the gun pointing out though.
Not yet. There's more footage on it.
So yeah, there's a couple of different videos to be fair, and there's one which has a lot of gunfire on it.
Okay, that one's.
Hang on,
this is
and
an
it's got
enemy.
some funny looking enemies and stuff. But we're watching a bit of footage now.
I still can't quite believe that.
But it is.
It looks amazing.
100%.
Spectrum.
I mean,
with the Amiga Doom thing though, like it won't run on a base Amiga. Like it's there, but obviously you need either to emulate it or like a proper like high-powered
Gloom did it.
high-powered
Gloom did it.
Amiga and Gloom. Yeah, well, see, I had a 2 megabyte Amiga 1200, and I had to play Gloom. I know it's amazing. I had to play Gloom on a window, probably as big as like maybe like 4 inches. Yeah. So yeah, you have to bump it up.
It's
But that
impressive.
is on a base. Obviously, because I don't think you can expand the spectrum, can you? That is on a spectrum.
As far as I'm aware,
that is running on a spectrum.
as far as I'm aware,
Skullduggery.
no. There's no skullduggery.
That is amazing.
As far as I'm aware, it is a bog standard specky.
That's insane.
I mean, it obviously in the notes.
How many cassettes would it take to get it?
Oh, God knows. I mean, in the notes,
Wow.
it says it does, of course, lack, the texture mapping, the depth of audio, all that.
Yeah,
sort
not
of
good
stuff.
enough. Where's the texture mapping?
Yeah.
Beggars
Wow.
can't be choosers, gentlemen, as we all know. Yeah.
Wow.
But what an amazing feat of programming. I
That's
mean,
incredible,
It's
yeah.
just incredible, isn't it? I mean, sitting there watching that video like recently, I'm like, this is nuts. How have they managed to do that? But I mean, does that kind of throw up any other mods that you've seen that you think were I mean, we've talked about a couple of obviously already, but the one that kind of springs to my mind was
It's a Doom on a fridge.
Doom. Well, Doom on a fridge is good, but Doom on a Canon printer screen.
There you go.
Have you seen
Doom on a
that one?
Canon printer screen. Yeah. What?
Unbelievable. And I've
How do
actually,
you even play it? How do you even like press the buttons
where
to
does the
play it?
controller plug in? But I mean, Doom on a fridge, Doom on a
Doom on a Tamagotchi.
Yeah,
I don't know what was
There's
it.
a really good Reddit group called It Runs Doom, and they literally it's just dedicated to things.
Really?
Do you know what? They don't like me on that.
No, they think you're a spammy.
Why?
You're a
Because
spammer.
travelling back to
Because
Arsenal.
Spamerson.
I put on, who was it again? The guy that helped make Doom on the Jaguar, and John Carmack stepped in and helped actually. So I put the interview on there, the audio podcast, and everyone was loving it. Guys, this is a really interesting interview. Then all of a sudden, the main moderator said, I wouldn't usually allow this post because technically we all know Doom, would work on the Jaguar. This is not really the point of this, but because everyone's, enjoying this, I'll leave it. But you've been warned.
You've been warned, Sonny G.
Just for mentioning the Jag.
How dare
Was he the BBC? I'm just kidding.
Oh, boom, boom, boom. Shots fired.
You've been warned.
No, because they're impartial deal. Sorry.
warned.
But I mean, there we go. That it just throws up a.
That
I'm
is
sure
amazing.
I'm sure there's a bunch of people out there that have seen some crazy mods on stuff. But sorry, Keith, what were you going to say?
No, just that's amazing. Anyway, you have to watch that video. I can't
You've got to tip
believe
your hat
that.
to those guys.
Yeah,
And it's do look it up. And all you've got to do is search for either Quake Engine or Doom UI.
I put Spectrum Quake and it came in. On
There you go.
YouTube.
There you go.
James, I've just got the reply from John Carmack out the Amiga. You ready for this?
Oh, here we go.
He said basically, and this was sent many. Yeah, he sent it in September '94. So the Amiga is not powerful enough to run Doom. It takes the full speed of a 68040 to play the game properly, even if you have a chunky pixel mode in hardware. Having to convert to bits planes would kill it, even on the fastest Amiga hardware. Not to mention the effect it would have on the majority of the Amiga base. John Carmack.
John, sorry, mate, it's done now.
It's been done and dusted, and we got the T-shirt. Yeah.
Sorry, John.
I haven't played it though. I'll have to pick that up and actually whack it on the emulator and see if it's any good. But,
I mean, I just think that's another reason why this whole kind of the retro gaming community is so it just throws up surprises day in, day out, doesn't it? You just think that people have sat down and done that. It's just amazing. I think it's brilliant.
Word of warning: the person that made that video and you want to post it on It Runs Doom Reddit, be careful. The mods
Careful.
They
are a
might
bit
warn
strict.
you.
they're going to warn you.
Yeah, but you're not mentioning Jag though, so they probably won't get instantly offended. I'm offended.
We know it runs on the Jag.
It's not really the point of this. It's not really the point. It's supposed to be if you can run it on microwaves. And
on a Casio watch.
Sorry, Reddit forum. The single
honestly, I'm banned from quite a few Reddit forums.
Oh, now the plot thickens. Yeah.
Adrian's on Reddit spammer, but I've told you to stop now. Stop now. 'cause
I'm calming down. I'm calming
doing
down.
some
You've been
experience.
warned on both sides. Right, should we move on? I think it's probably best. Yeah, I think until we get banned from something else. So something completely different again, and we're going now to the crucible of world record gaming speedruns. Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
Where's Rob? He'd love this.
We like a little speed run, don't we? And we recently had what was it, a Sonic speed run at yours, Keith, didn't we? For,
Sonic 1 on the
for
Master System. Yeah.
And which was
Excellently chosen.
yeah, great game. But I mean, we've all probably seen some, crazy runs on things like Super Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Super Metroid, la 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 la. There's loads of games that we've seen, speed runs on. But get ready for one of the most fierce and hotly contested of speed runs on a game that was made for the Sega Saturn. Oh. I'm going to ask Keith, any random stabs in the dark as to what this could be?
Speed run.
Is that a clue? Stabs in the dark.
Actually, yes.
I
I didn't do that on purpose, but in fact, yes, you do stab in this game.
Oh,
It's a stabby game.
Might give
Stabby game.
Might give you a bit of a clue.
Is it only on the Saturn or is it
Only on the Saturn. Yeah.
Stabby. Keith's pulling one of the greatest faces.
He's on Golden Axe Duel.
Is that your sex face?
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay. Shall I tell you?
Yeah, go on.
This you may know it, you may
Okay.
not, but I don't know. So it is in fact a rather poorly rated title. Some people love it, but most people kind of it's meh, don't like it. I'm talking about it's actually one of the worst titles, or generally speaking. On
Is
the
it
platform
Virtual
rated.
Hide?
It is Virtual Hide.
Okay.
The
When you
JRPG
started talking about how bad it is, I kind
Yes.
of got the...
yeah, and essentially, do you know the game?
I haven't played it, but I've seen footage of it,
Do you want
and
to
it's
give us
talked
just
about all
a
the
quick
time.
sort of, just if anyone doesn't know what we're talking about?
Yeah, it's like an action RPG, and you play it from a third person.
That's right. Yeah.
From behind the character, but it's very early Saturn, and the graphics are
Questionable.
painful to the eye. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite janky.
Very.
It's
Yeah,
got
yeah.
kind of disappearing walls, and I watched.
It's quite comical the way you shuffle along as well. It's,
the attacks I think are a bit kind of. There's not many frames on it, and so I mean,
It's
They
got
want to do
it's-
speed running with this game?
yeah.
aha, hotly contested. I might add. This is
okay.
big. This you got.
They've run out of games now to do speed running with.
But this one's for some unknown reason. This one has really caught the imagination of a lot of
Okay.
speedrunners. Yeah. But there's core of gamers competing very, very heavily to take the speedrun record and stay on top. One of the guys is called Zophar, Zophar, and he's clocked up some serious time on this game, and he actually shares his speedruns on his YouTube channel. He does streams on them as well. He's a good laugh as well, this chap. But there's a table of I think there's 8 or 10 individuals, and this table keeps on changing based on the speedruns. And it's not just like, oh, someone does it and then 5 years later someone else has a go. These guys are doing it like week in, week out. So they're basically like trying to speedrun it again. Now, I think at the time of this pod going out, I think the latest, or recording anyway, the latest speedrun's about 31 minutes.
Wow.
I think it is something.
That's
like
impressive,
that.
right?
It is for that kind of game.
for a whole-
Yeah.
Well, that kind of game is, pretty fast. I mean, and there was a whole hoo-ha around 36, 35, 34 minutes. There was loads of competition going on. You can check out these tables online, and they change all the time. But this chap Zophar, he's pretty damn good. But yeah,
So far, so good.
Oh, I was going to do that, Joe.
But
You're getting old, Aid. Getting slow.
You're too slow, man. I beat you to the punch.
Mr. Hijacker's lost his interjection. But yeah, so I mean, we've all seen a stack of speed runs, but a JRPG speed run
The weird.
on the Saturn,
On a
Weird.
terrible game.
yeah,
On a terrible game.
And I looked
Weird.
don't get me wrong, it's funny because there's some websites that like rate it really highly.
I've always wanted to try it myself, just to see what it's like. I should do that.
Yeah, it's worth giving it a go. If
But
anyone
that sounds like
played
such a
it-
short time. Because like the Ocarina of Time one, isn't there like a glitch or something? And
There's
people can
weird
do it
glitches,
like
yeah.
really
It's
fast,
stupid,
like
yeah.
minutes.
I think
I wonder
well,
if it's something similar.
from what
You
I've
glitch
seen
it.
of the game, you can explore. Obviously, it's not huge areas and stuff because it's an early time of that game, but you can explore, and I think it's several hours of gameplay if you kind of explore and do everything at a pedestrian pace. I mean, these guys are essentially doing the bare minimum to get to the next section and so on and so forth. Yeah. But yeah, if you're a JRPG fan and like speed runs, then go and have a look. and the videos.
If you like
are
bad
interesting.
JRPG,
Yes.
Or bad
ugly graphics. Yes.
Yeah, terrible TJRPG.
but very competitive scene.
Indeed.
You go and enjoy.
It's nuts. Yeah, maybe have a go yourself. Who knows? So we're moving on to VR next, chaps. VR.
Oh,
Yeah.
Now hold your horses,
Dylan.
I can see what's going on here. You're going to go.
Well, VR's not very retro, is it?
no, I'm just done with VR. It's not retro either.
Damn it! But there's a big hairy butt in the scene here.
Ooh, Harry
So what?
Potter.
I mean,
VR,
I was
hairy
going to say to you,
No thanks.
what sort of game? Has anyone played any games on VR?
Loads,
Yes.
yeah.
No.
Yeah. Any
really a fan.
anything decent?
Yeah, it's some of it's good fun, but
Super Hots. Was
Super
all right,
Hot was
wasn't it?
brilliant. I love Headmaster on the
Yeah.
PSVR. So much fun.
Bit of Beat Saber. Played that.
I haven't played that, but I've played similar games.
Played a
Yeah.
bit of that. It's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
It's good fun. And there's Phasmophobia. Have you heard of that?
No.
It's like a haunted house type thing. And
Oh,
you,
okay.
And you play multiplayer, and you. I mean, obviously, it requires quite a setup because it requires 2 or 3 of you to have
The VR. Yeah.
I think you can play controller based as well,
Mm.
but VR is so much better. And yeah, it's like a big haunted house, and you have like basic kind of tools and flashlight and that kind of thing. And it's just essentially
That sounds
a haunted
pretty
house.
cool.
It is. Go online and look at some of the reactions to it because people do literally jump out of their pants. It's good fun. So. I'm going to give you a kind of a title of a game that you almost certainly, in fact, I'm going to say definitely, would not think of when thinking of VR headset games. And that game is Legend of Zelda on the NES.
No.
And you think, yep, okay, go on. Tell me what you're thinking.
So that was top down, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
top down.
Yep,
8-bit.
2D pixely.
yep. Remember it well?
Has someone
Tough as
rebuilt
nails,
it?
man.
Have rebuilt it in a 3D world?
So, the original game has been recreated pixel for pixel for the Quest VR headset. Okay, it's been achieved using the Quest Z Doom engine, funnily enough, and is very aptly titled "The Legend of Doom." Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, "Hang on a minute, you can't actually make this game. It just can't be possible because it's a 2D, it's a top down, can't be done." But essentially, when you look at the gameplay, it is literally like you've been dropped into the NES game. Okay, so it has been created pixel for pixel. So what you see overhead on the 2D is then what you see in the 3D VR.
But just as pixels, so it's not like they've not like tried to do like fancy rendering.
no. It's
Show us, Keith.
Yeah.
Because Keith's.
I have to skip the ads.
I'll skip the ads.
So it's
We're waiting. We're waiting.
yeah.
To watch
Well, I was just going to say
no, yeah.
with all, it's all the pixel art and the chip tunes included.
Hey, look.
Okay,
yeah, look.
okay.
It's dangerous to go along.
Oh,
Take
wow.
this.
So do you know what it looks like? Because they've kept the pixel art style, it looks like Minecraft.
Yeah,
It looks like Minecraft.
wondering
Yeah.
on like Minecraft.
That's actually quite
I mean, it is
impressive.
very cool.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Again,
That
another-
is retro. Well done. It's a retro VR thing.
Look at Link.
Yeah, that is
It's
cool.
just like Doom Guy.
Yeah, he's got the hat.
But just to explain those that can't see the video, it's so faithful to the original that even the rendering of the sword and shield and the enemy emplacements are bang on. Pretty
Excellent.
much, I would say.
What do Nintendo think of this? Because they're usually quite.
It'd be interesting to know.
They don't
to be
like
fair.
it when people muck about their IPs.
No, they don't. But
That's good.
I do know there's quite a bit of love for this because
It looks awesome, man.
It looks
Yeah.
fantastic.
I just think that's a really interesting concept. Taking a 2D
God, yeah.
game like that and then kind of actually being able to walk through it, in 3D.
There you go, Aid. There's something else for your Zelda.
John Carmack said it's not possible.
You can't
Doom
do
one,
Zelda in
Doom
3D.
one on the NES.
So what we take from that is it almost certainly is possible. We're only joking.
We respect John. Don't
We're
we?
only joking. But would you buy a headset for that?
No.
No.
I would.
Aid would.
Yeah.
He would.
He's
He would.
just
Of course he
decided
would.
now he likes VR.
He'll be on Facebook Marketplace in a minute. There's these headsets. But I'd like to have a go though. I'd definitely like to have a go at that. But there we go. So we're moving on to racing games now, chaps. Racers, everyone likes a good racer.
Yep.
Good arcade racer, of course we do. Yeah. And even though Dylan won the golden joystick at the old games night, I will claim victory on both racing games.
You did, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah,
Indy
and I-
500 and
Indy 500 and F-Zero.
F-Zero X.
Yes.
And it's funny you say F-Zero.
Is it?
That's exactly what the next story's about.
Oh, really?
See what I did there?
F-Zero news?
Yes.
But you said there hadn't been F-Zero news in like 20 years.
It
Keith.
hasn't.
Well,
Go on.
get ready.
There's been a lot of effing bad news lately.
Hey.
Hey.
So one of the more completely bonkers racers, as we just said, F-Zero,
Yeah.
it's getting a brand new, just as mental sequel called XF, okay, which is called Extreme Formula.
Okay.
All right. There isn't a whole lot of meat on the bones for this at the moment, as far as the actual detail goes. But what we do know is that it runs at 60 FPS, so it looks absolutely gorgeous. And it features up to 30 vehicles on the track at once. So, again, bonkers, yeah? You can. I mean, I have had a cheeky look at some of the footage, and again, if Keith, feel free to have a look at this. There is some early footage of this. which
So
now
this is for
available
the
on
Switch, I
Is
assume?
this an official game?
yeah,
Switch game?
Yeah.
Must be.
And again, details are
What's it called?
sketchy. So it's F-Zero XF or Extreme.
Oh no, it's on the
Formula.
Spectrum. Sorry, I'm mistaken.
Yeah, they put it forward into the Spectrum and a Canon printer. It looks just well. I'd like to play it. Put it that way. I'd love to have a go when it comes out. It looks really good. It looks just as bonkers, just as nuts, just as fast. It's got a banging dance soundtrack, as you'd expect. 1,500 kilometers an hour, things going past you.
I'm not seeing it. It's interesting.
The game is quite a way off being finished yet, but it's well worth keeping an eye out for, especially if
hang
you're a
on.
fan of either F-Zero,
Zero Unlimited.
or
Oh no,
newer
2
races,
years ago.
I would say.
I can't find it, James.
You can't find it. I got to remember where I got the
Zero X.
It might not be on YouTube, eh?
Yeah, it's not. at the
actual
moment.
story for it. Might have been
Not under that, anyway.
embedded in a website, but
Oh, you must find it. You must find
Yeah,
it.
well, anyway, I mean, if
I'm
anyone's,
definitely interested.
if anyone's
Love a bit of
interested, then
F-Zero.
I'll find it and maybe put a link on the socials or
Yeah.
whatever, and put the video up there from where I got the story from. But yeah, well
Cool.
worth kind of hanging on to that one because it's
Been
there's
a long
actual
time
gameplay
coming.
out there. So yeah, look, how long?
About 20 years. GameCube was the last one, yeah.
Just a while. Yeah, just a while. And I think what was it? I think on another pod potentially we spoke about Simpsons Hit and Run. Did we not?
We did.
I'm going to go from one to the next. Simpsons Hit and Run remake, possibly
Oh,
on
yeah.
the horizon. Okay.
I'm in for that, yeah. Definitely.
Now I'll give you again details sketchy, but this is all kind of a little bit of hearsay, a little bit of kind of said it in a report, so on and so forth. So I mean, we're all big fans of Simpsons, of course we are.
Yeah.
The news is itchy and sketchy.
Itchy and scratchy. So we all love Simpsons. Let's be honest, we all love Hit and Run. It was kind of the family answer to GTA.
GTA
wasn't
was,
it,
it was
to be
great, yeah.
honest. Just hilarious, great, love playing it, really addictive. In 2003, Hit and Run was released as a sequel to which one? Which was the first Simpsons?
Road Rage.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was. Road Rage was released. And 03.
That was basically Crazy Taxi Simpsons. Yeah.
Crazy Taxi. It became even more popular, and it's pretty much been a staple in most people's GameCube, PS2, and Xbox libraries as well. The lead designer has piped up recently and stated that he would be down to make another installment in the series after 20 years. Okay. Now, he's not said anything sort of prior to this, and all of a sudden he's gone, yeah, do you know what? I think we should have a sequel. Yeah, I'd love to do that. And of course, when a lead designer goes, I'd love to do this, you get people clambering around going, okay, who can we get involved and how long have we got and all this sort of thing. So the chap's name is James McGinn. And he said in an interview with Games Radar that he'd love to see a remake of this beloved classic. So how do we feel about that? What would that look like? What would it feel like? Could they mess it up?
I don't think you could really mess it up.
Would they expand upon it a bit? Would it, or
Yeah.
I think they could update it maybe.
I mean, just kind of sharpen it up and maybe expand the game a little bit in terms
Yeah,
of
I mean, graphically, it would look. I imagine if you made and it would look like the cartoon.
yeah.
On modern consoles, and
That would be pretty cool.
instead of
wouldn't
kind
it?
of slightly
That would be good.
blurry PS2, it would. Yeah, I'd love to see it.
I mean, I'd be up for playing that, definitely.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's be honest as well. And I know we've talked about this, and I think this is a conversation that goes on and on. Is remakes of late in terms of what the last couple of years have been a lot. There's obviously been a lot more attention paid to what the gamers actually want to see in a remake, because we can all name a terrible remake, can't we? Or a rehash or a remaster. But we talk about like the likes of your Resident Evils and things like that.
Yeah.
And you go, wow, decent remake. Yeah. And they actually listen to what kind of people want. So maybe if they get that sort of thing right,
Yeah.
because would you make a kind of cartoon remake a cartoon racer? I mean, it's, Resident Evil I get because massive game, but, interesting. So yeah, be good fun to play another installment of that. So what I've done now, chaps, I've got you a nice, real quick fire roundup of the rest of the news. The rest of the news around the internet, yeah? So do we remember Flash games back in the day?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
I killed many an hour at university in between lessons playing those.
You know what? I was such a bad boy because you could. I remember you had to go on websites, didn't you?
You did, yeah.
And
specific websites. Yeah.
And you could download them onto disc, couldn't you?
You could.
So I don't know why I did it like this, but I think I went to the library and I stayed lots of discs and steal and I'm putting Croydon Library and just get some of the games and no one's watching. Quick and take them home because I think you need the internet, didn't you, to play Flash games? Is that right? I can't remember.
They're all
but you could
web-based.
download
They were
it.
all on Flash.
Yeah.
They were all on Flash.
Yes, they
So
were.
I managed to download a lot of games from the public library and take them home.
Oh man, I don't think
Thief.
I don't think that's like no. That's fine, isn't it?
Yeah, but I was using their internet.
I've done something really
Adrian
bad.
just felt bad.
But
Score update.
We're recording this while keeping an eye on the
#hijack. Go on.
Fulham 0, Arsenal 1.
football. Nice.
Tony Robinson own goal.
Okay,
16 minutes played.
Anton Robinson.
Thanks for that. That's going to date this podcast really well. Isn't it?
It's right. It's coming out this week. It's fine. It's
Yeah,
fine.
it's
It's
fine.
fine.
No,
Can you imagine in
Okay.
5 or 6 years' time someone finds, what?
What?
Fulham
was-
are like...
They're going to look back and go, it was the season that Arsenal could have won the league.
Hola.
Hola. You hijack me.
That's
I'll
what you get for
hijack you,
interrupting. Yeah.
Sorry.
You sling mud over my fence, I'm going to chuck it right back, yeah? But, I mean, let's be honest, many a lunch break, yes, many a free period in sixth form, many a whatever.
They were pretty good, some of the Flash games, weren't they?
I remember, there's several that I remember being really, really good. Well, now, thanks to a website called the Internet Archive, do we know the Internet Archive, ladies and gentlemen? So I only just found out about this recently. They have a massive selection of
All the stuff that Adrian stole.
yeah, essentially, it's all there from Croydon
I did
Library.
it for archive purposes, thank you.
It's a whole bunch of free books, Flash games, loads of content that you can go through, and some of it on this. It's really good. It's a great resource. And what they've done is they've scooped up all of these Flash games, all right, and they've made them playable on their website. You don't have to have Flash. So essentially, because Flash is obviously no more.
Obsolete.
Exactly. So what they've done is they've I suppose, is emulated the wrong word? I mean, is emulated the wrong word for that? Or
I don't know.
They've kind of, I don't know how they've done it, but they've essentially got Flash working. Yeah, on this on your PC, and you can do it on your mobile as well. A lot of them are better with the mouse and keyboard because they played a lot better with the mouse. And sometimes you have to type letters and numbers in, and you can't really do that with your smartphone. But yeah, we've got things like, I don't know if you've heard of any of these, but these are a few of my favourites. Kitten Cannon. Do you remember Kitten Cannon? No, you launched a little kitten out of a cannon, and he basically
I might have seen that,
He
actually.
basically had to go across a field and hit various different things like bombs, traps.
And then basically
balloons.
Angry Birds ripped it off.
Essentially, yeah. And then if you landed in like a bear trap or you got eaten by a fox or something, then that was game over. Pretty brutal, but funny. Something called the Fancy Pants Adventure. And my personal favourite, Spank the Monkey. Yeah.
Spank the Monkey.
Do you remember? You
rings a
must
bell.
remember Spank the Monkey.
Yes.
Very simple, very funny, highly addictive. God knows why I spent so much time on it. An inflatable monkey and like a white kind of like outlined hand, like a gloved hand on the screen. And you got the mouse, you click the hand and you spank the monkey. And the faster you did it, the better. And if you got above
So rude, isn't it?
I know. And if you got above like 300 mile an hour, Good Times by Chic used to play.
Okay.
And it was nuts, but really good fun.
Yes,
There's a load of stuff on there. There's one I tried yesterday called the Impossible Quiz, which is like mind-bendingly difficult but funny. But yeah, go and have a search for your favourite Flash
Yeah,
games.
technical question, right, for you computer people, like pleb like
You
me.
computer people.
You computer
No,
people.
I'm barely a
Right?
computer
No,
person.
because I remember playing when I was working in the office. I remember playing Java games.
Java.
What was the difference between Flash and Java?
They're just different platforms, aren't they? Different.
Were they
code.
similar though?
I think,
Or-
yeah, because they all needed, like I think you'd always have like weird pop-ups to download them all the time, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Oh, this requires Java, or this requires
Yeah, I think
Flash.
it was just
or...
the prerequisite to running the game. So like, you had to have
okay.
Flash Player.
It's
to
just
play
probably just
Flash
Because I
Code
remember
base.
playing like a pool game that was like it was a Java one in the
there were some
office.
great
a lot.
pool games.
Yeah.
Oh yes, pool games.
Yep, Java.
I remember those. Yeah.
Oh man, you could search for all of these Flash games. Go to the Internet Archive and go to the Flash section. You can either browse what's there, or you can type in search for your. As I say, the three I typed in all came up. So they've got.
You
something-
typed in Spank the Monkey.
I typed in Spain.
Oh no, James.
Well, no. Let me. No, I'm going to need to backtrack a bit here.
Within that site.
Hold on. Yes.
Not on.
Yeah,
not,
don't just
A-
Google it. Don't just Google
A-
it.
not an incognito tab.
You're going to make me cough.
Private
No.
browsing.
Yes, it was not. It was on that site, and I only typed the word spank, which is only marginally better. But there we go. But yeah, you can go to the site and type in, or you can just browse. There's something crazy like 3,000.
I was going to ask how many games. That's crazy.
About 3,000, and they've got thousands of other bits and pieces on their books and online stuff you can go and have a look at. So they're kind of a vacuum of free stuff on the internet, which is good. So, moving on. Game collectors. Now, I know we got, Keith, you got a handsome collection of various types of games. Dill, you got some as well. We've all got bits and pieces, haven't we?
Yeah.
Well, there's a chap who has managed to collect, right, not only collect every N64 game
That's
available,
a lot.
he has completed every single one.
No, that's impossible.
Hey,
Okay?
So how many games is that?
I don't know, but I can tell you how long it took.
Oh, go on.
5.5 years. Which doesn't sound like a lot. If every single N64 game collected and completed within 5.5 years. I mean, you've got to dedicate a fair bit of time to that. Obviously.
5.5 years.
But some of the games can you complete?
No, I mean within the 5.5 years.
I suppose fighting games. I suppose you could fight one player.
Yeah, I
I
suppose.
suppose you technically could.
Yeah.
But like Perfect Dark's a big game. GoldenEye's a big game.
Yeah.
Is he like full completing them, or just getting to the end of it?
All I've got is that he's completed every single one. So
I suppose it's different from now where you get like a completion percentage.
I'm pointing at Adrian because something's happened in the football again.
Yeah. So the goal that Arsenal scored was disallowed.
But
Interestingly, it sounds like we've got another goal anyway. So
but possibly disallowed.
yeah,
So,
VAR. We love VAR, don't we?
who's given the ref a brown paper envelope this time? eh? Yeah, come on.
Yeah. So, well, let's see.
This guy's name is Ace Gamer Sam. And as we said, just over 5.5 years to collect and complete.
I mean, his name he's meant to be a gamer with a name like
Well,
that.
I'm going to Google how many games.
With a name like that.
and it states, or he states, that his favourite titles are Banjo-Kazooie,
Yeah, good title.
Excellent game.
Perfect Dark,
Good title.
and Adrian's going to love this one more than an Arsenal goal, Diddy Kong Racing. He likes a bit of Diddy Kong Racing.
I've got here, there are 393 N64 games.
That's a
Which
fair
is
library.
not crazy, but still a... Wait, so
complete all of them.
Wait, 5 years? I can't do the maths. How much did he complete roughly every month then?
No idea. Someone
How
get
do you
on
complete the sports games? Anyway.
that. Someone post us a
Anyway, we'll just, yes, well done, mate.
How
Yeah.
do you complete ISS?
Yeah, well, just well done, mate.
Well done.
Just say
Well done, Ace. Gamey Sam.
We'll just say well done, and we
well
move
done
on.
and move on.
Yeah.
So we have recently had March the 10th. Again, I'm dating the podcast, but that's all right. So, which is classed as Mario Day.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
March 10th, Mario Day. And this year it's been celebrated with the release of a whole new set of Mario Lego. Mm-hmm. Okay. These things are nuts. Okay. You can grab yourself a standard or a king-sized Bowser.
I've seen the king size
That looks
one.
awesome,
It's
by the way,
huge.
doesn't it?
Yeah,
I really
it's
actually
huge.
kind of want that.
Donkey Kong.
Nice.
Or even Bowser's Castle, which is quite cool.
Oh, wow.
I think that's quite cool. Your prices, you're looking anywhere from 70 to 230 quid. Okay, 230 is about the going rate for the big
The
Bowser.
big one.
The Bowser looks awesome.
It does look
And it
wicked.
takes rather a long time to set it up and complete it.
1 million pieces.
There are
Yeah.
there are rumours they're going to actually make Zelda Lego. That's the next big thing, apparently. The Nintendo things.
You had to get it in there.
No, but there are strong rumours you can make like Hyrule Castle and
it
stuff.
would make
Cool.
sense, wouldn't it? It would make sense.
I think I'd buy that if that comes out.
But I mean, well, that'll be even more expensive, wouldn't it? That'd be huge.
I better start
Yeah.
saving the
I was going to
pennies now.
say, get that. Yeah, I was going to say, if you're a big, Lego fan,
Go
Mario
fund
fan,
me,
so-
please.
and you can crowdfunding for Adrian's Hyrule Castle. And if you've got a few pennies down the back of the sofa,
Yeah, I bet.
then go get yourself one. I mean, I know people have bought like the Millennium Falcon and Harry Potter.
Yeah.
There are people out there who buy it, but Lego's expensive, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
I mean, I like a bit of Lego, but
Hundreds
it's
of
a lot of
pounds.
money, isn't it?
It is.
Some of them
I
are
don't-
so cool though. Did you see?
For
like,
me, that's not worth.
like
money.
last
It's not worth
Christmas,
money.
the McAllister house from Home Alone.
You got it?
No,
For real?
But did you? No, I haven't got it.
No.
okay.
They've
You
done-
spent
they've done the
£400?
McAllister.
Yeah.
Have they?
Yeah. I think it came out like before Christmas, just gone.
Okay, that's cool.
If I was a rich man,
But again, like I've seen in the past, like they've done the Simpsons house and the Quickie Mart and stuff, and
They've got a Stranger Things one as well.
Oh, have they?
And you can turn the house
Oh,
upside down.
yeah. There's an upside down to it. Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, I just
now,
I want all the Lego.
Dylan's listening.
I'm like, I need a better paid job.
Yeah.
So there we go, chaps. That's. I've got one more story for you, but that's pretty much the kind of gaming news as it stands at the moment. I mean, a few releases, some remakes, rumours of other stuff, screens on a GameCube. What's going on there? And ridiculous ports to speckies for Doom and Quake and stuff like
Insane.
that, which I think is just incredible. And again, I know the guys out there, they can't see the videos and stuff, but do go and search for it.
Oh, yeah.
It's well worth spending a few
Definitely.
minutes if you've got a few minutes just to have a look at those videos, because they're mad. They're just mad. Adrian, you look like you're about to say something.
No,
Have we got
I-
another update? Or?
No, that's good. It's a good news update. Is there any other gaming news that you think heard recently?
No, I mean, obviously, Resi 4 demo's out.
The Resident Evil 4 Chainsaw demo is out.
And
yeah.
Keith's thoughts
Tell us,
are
tell
as
us.
thus.
Well, so I played it last night. It's not too long, but basically it's the whole of the opening and the village section, right up until the bell tolls and everyone goes off to play bingo. I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm playing it on PS5. It looks amazing. It feels nice to play. But the whole time, it's all very familiar, obviously. That whole opening section is very familiar. But I did just have this sense of, did this need the remake?
Well, this is the thing. We won't know until we see the full game.
Yeah. The thing is, right, am I going to buy it? Yes. Am I going to enjoy it? Absolutely. I'm
probably.
sure I will. But I'm just thinking, I wish I was playing a Code Veronica remake. Or
Yeah.
Dino Crisis.
Code Veronica, these things are more
I
important.
love Resident Evil 4 so much.
I think they've just gone, wow, okay, we've done two,
Two,
three,
three, four.
let's do
I know.
four.
This is it, isn't it? This is because they made a good job of 1, 2, and 3. I mean, I know 3 got a bit of stick, didn't it, for being short.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
But they haven't done an
yeah.
over-the-shoulder one, though. I think that
There
would be
is
pretty
talk
good.
there is talk that they might do that.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But yeah, so it's only the demo, and it's don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. It controls nicely. It looks it's so good. But it was
For
this
me-
feeling
for
of,
me,
is
Keith-
this necessary? Could they have diverted their resources to something
Well,
else?
yeah, only time, again,
But, I'll play the full game.
will
and
today's
we'll-
gamers buy it? So the guys who weren't around when it first came out, early 2000s, the youngsters, comparative youngsters who are into that kind of game, are they going to buy it? And if they do buy it, and that's great, then that's,
I mean,
you
did
know,
they buy-
that's
did
that
they buy
justified.
the 1,
It's
2,
not
3
for
remakes?
us, I guess. I suppose it is kind of for us, but not really for us.
two, but then obviously 2 was 1998, the original, whereas this was 2005, and although that is still a long time ago,
It's not.
I've got to be honest, though. I got on
It's
that.
not
on
that many generations ago.
No, it's not. And on that point, I think that's quite interesting because 1, 2, and 3 were long enough ago, weren't they? That actually the remake would kind of
It makes sense.
capture the younger market.
Yeah.
But also us guys who are like, oh, I'd love to see a remake and whatever, because the remake's very different to what the original was. Whereas now with 4, because it was such a game.
Whoever
ahead
of
its
us
time-
lot said, "Oh, I'd love to see a Resi 4 remake." No, because you can just download the other one,
but the funny thing is,
which is quite sharp anyway. If you get it on
It
like
looks
Xbox
brilliant.
Store or
It
whatever,
looks lovely, yeah.
like it don't.
No, but but that's the thing. We're going to know because obviously, if people don't buy it, because obviously they still enjoy it, they'd still just rather play the original anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Is
The
it
original
that
was
much
pretty
different?
long. I'm hoping that they've like built in some other arcs and stuff. A bit like the Resi 2. The Resi 2 remake wasn't
bit more.
exactly. It gave it a bit more on the bones. So
Yeah.
if it give me a bit more on the bones.
I'm sure there'll be reasons to play it. It's not going to be a
Have they
straight.
remade 2, 3, and 4?
Yeah.
Not 1.
Well, 1 got a remake, didn't
Yeah.
it? Back
But
in
it was a
2001.
HD still tank controller game.
But it was a complete ground up remake.
But it was still a tank
So-
controller third person.
It was,
one,
yeah.
rather than
But
over
this
the
is
shoulder.
the funny thing. Obviously, the remake of 2, the remake of 3, they've been done in the style of 4 because 4
Yeah.
was so groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're now remaking the game that prompted the remake.
It's going to be interesting to see now we've opened this can of worms.
I'm not hating on it or anything like that. You know, I'm sure
Let's hate on it. Let's hate on it.
Get in the bin.
Get in the bin. Get in the bin, Resi, for me, mate.
I'm sure it'll be great.
Get
But
in
we're
the
just
bin.
thinking, I wish this was Code Veronica. I wish this was Diana. You know?
Arsenal are 2-0 up. It is.
And Arsenal are 2-0 up.
Ding, 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 ding. And Adrian's staying very quiet, which is good. So
Yeah,
I'll move on to the final story.
There you go.
Well, this is really for people that kind of are maybe just hearing about us now and kind of, you know, don't really know an awful lot about us, which aren't going to be potentially that many people, but you never know. So for our last story, for those not in the know, Arcade Attack is, well, for now, going out on episode 300. We're calling it, you're hanging up the mics after 300. So I don't want to get too much into the detail and whatever, but we're going to have a big old celebration, everything we've covered over the years on episode 300. We don't know exactly what it looks like yet.
It's going to be carnage, and I'm not having anything to do with it.
It's going to be mental, and it's going to be fun.
Adrian's going to orchestrate the whole thing.
Yeah. Kev's coming, Rob's coming. It's going to be crazy.
Has Kev let us use his house for it?
I'll pressure him.
Pressure him. This place isn't big enough with the two of those guys in there as well.
It's going to be absolute anarchy.
It's going to be,
and it's going to be one bumper episode where anything goes.
Well,
apart from anything,
yeah, steady.
My clothes are staying on.
Well, that's that ticked off the list then.
Oh man, I've got a few ideas already. But
you might even get banned from Reddit by then.
Lifetime ban.
Oh, I deserve it, probably.
You have been warned.
You're lucky that you got so many nice comments because I was tempted to ban this.
You're lucky we didn't send the boys round.
If I saw this, he said, if I saw this earlier, I would have banned it straight away. But it seems to get.
I'll let it go. I'm a big man and I'll let it go. I love how you said,
We'll send the boys round.
we'll send the boys round. Like some little Edna Mode or something in the corner. Oh, man. Oh, dear. But, I mean, let's be honest. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a bit totes emotion.
We've had some great comments already, haven't we?
Well, I was just going to say we've had. I'm going to say it's been pretty overwhelming, to be quite honest. I look after the social accounts, and I've got to be honest. There's been stacks of messages, posts. People saying what they remembered the best and the best episodes, and the worst episodes, and all that sort of stuff. And it's like it's really nice to know that people kind of. Remember that stuff, right back from when, somebody was talking about the Shadow Dancer episode, your first episode.
That was the first episode, blimey.
Yeah. But it's great, all of the episodes had their own kind of character, which is good. And that's exactly what we're going for. So it's
I think one guy tagged us in, or said, I'm listening to Arcade Attack. Then literally a second later said, I just found you guys. Are you leaving?
Yeah.
Well, we've got plenty to listen to, though.
He said, but I've got 300. Yeah.
That's exactly what I replied back to him. He said, I've just discovered you guys. This, I think it was the Amstrad one or something.
I think it might have been,
goes,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was a really good episode. Oh, yeah, you've said you're leaving after 300. And it's like...
Sorry, if he listens to one a week, it will do him for a few years.
It will, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, do stay tuned, because we're going to sort of collate some of those, messages, do some shout outs and things like that, just to kind of shout everybody out for all their support, because it's just been fantastic, hasn't it? And to get us over 500,000
amazing.
downloads
Amazing.
is just mind boggling.
If we had £1 for every download, we could afford all the Lego.
We could afford the Lego.
all of it.
We could
Lego
buy
Home
the
Alone
Lego.
houses
Buy
for
a
everyone.
Lego.
You get a Lego Home Alone house.
get a Lego.
You get a Lego Home Alone house.
You get a Lego
That doesn't work because this is coming before. Anyway, it kind of works. In 2 weeks' time,
Don't get the Oprah reference. Just from
yeah.
that. Just from that.
Well, that gives you some idea of something that's coming up. Then there we go.
Yeah.
Anyway, so stay tuned, and we've obviously got a bunch of episodes to keep you going before then. So do stay tuned to us. And if you are new, welcome. Of course, you've got a nice back catalogue to listen to. And wherever you get your pods from, and all of our sort of reviews, interviews, a whole bunch of stuff at the website as well. So go and have a look at all that. But yeah, that is pretty much a wrap, folks. And thanks for listening to what I believe is the final Retro News Roundup
Hey, let's get a round of applause. Hey.
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
And
There you go.
thanks for all your input, chaps. Very much appreciated with all of the bonkers stuff that we've been talking
Very
about.
good, mate.
And if you want
Excellent
to,
job.
if you want to give us any feedback on any of the stories,
Or
you wanna-
money for Lego.
any money
you know
for
where to go.
Lego, anything like that, any feedback on
We
the
should
football
change our
scores.
Kofi thing to fund our Lego habit.
Buy me a Lego, not buy me a coffee.
Buy me
Lego
Lego.
funding.
Buy me
Yeah.
Lego. Yeah.
And and any if you happen to watch any of those bonkers videos and give us a bit of feedback or reaction, you know where to tag us. So, but
Check out the old YouTubes.
Go on, check the YouTubes
Because we're
YouTube
making
tubes.
some more videos now, aren't we?
We'll make some more videos now. I'm getting to the old video editing and stuff, and it takes long, but I quite like it.
And we've got a blog, believe it or not.
And the blog stuff we got written. Just go. I mean, there's Arcade Attack will be around for some time, but yeah, for the time being, the old us chatting stuff to each other.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
check
no,
it,
breaking news. Casemiro's been sent off. Red card.
Casemiro's.
Sorry, Man United fans.
Casemiro.
Sorry, listeners, if you didn't want football updates. But
You're going to get them anyway. Yeah.
2 weeks out of date, but
Well, I don't want football updates, but I'm having to get it. It's my pod.
we're so bad. We're bad boy. Hey, we're the bad boys of retro
We're the
gaming.
bad boys of retro
We've
gaming.
always been the bad
No,
boys.
just you.
yeah.
Captain Hijacker over there.
It's like in Stranger Things. We make our own rules.
Yes.
That's what 11 and Max say, isn't it?
Yeah.
We make our own rules.
And on that bombshell, nicking it from someone else, that's it. That's a wrap. Thanks for joining us, and join us next time.
Thanks for listening to today's podcast. We really hope you enjoyed it. You can tweet us at Arcade Attack UK. We're also on Facebook at facebook.com/Arcade Attack UK. Check out our website at arcadeattack.co.uk for lots more retro gaming goodness and to delve into our archives. Our podcasts are also available on Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, YouTube and Apple Podcasts. Please leave us a review and a rating, we'd really appreciate it. If you'd like to support Arcade Attack, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/arcadeattack, which will give you access to exclusive podcasts, interviews and other bonus content. So, until next time, take care and we'll speak to you soon.